Hello and welcome to all the Hillians out there. I'm Joe here with me, my co-host Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And after a week's sabbatical from Tears of the Kingdom, we're back. And 3 hours into the game, thereabouts, you'll find yourself at the base of the hill where Hyrule Castle is, I think. Apparently, there's been a search party launched for Link and Zelda. And seeing as how Link's back, the guard basically says, well, I guess we don't need that search party. Go report to Captain Hawes. And once at the top of the hill, you run into a chick called Pura. Chick's character design, no. I thought this was supposed to be at least a semi-fantasy universe, not a fantastical one. And there is a distinction, fantastique et fantasy. Or I should say, you have fantasy, which is basically medieval literature of sorts with magic, swords, and dragons. And you have fantastique or fantastical, which is really sci-fi disguised as fantasy. And trust me, the sci-fi disguised as fantasy thing, outside of the odd game here and there, is garbage. Yeah, I guess. That 2003 series was great. Best series of He-Man ever. Go watch it, it's on YouTube. So, enough plugging that. Let's get back to... Her name is Pura, which symbolizes purity. And so, her and Link decide to turn Link into a kite. Which, okay. I'd say this is what I've been missing in my life, except it's not. Link as a kite. And I know people who said Linkle would be the worst thing ever for Legend of Zelda. No, I think this is the worst. Link as a kite. Do we really need to do this defying gravity thing? And, okay, if you're really going to do a Miyazaki thing, Miyazaki always includes some sort of flight or walking on the air thing. But here's the thing about how Miyazaki does it. It's charming and beautiful. And you get a sense of love with it. Here...
How my response was when they launched Link Up was like, the duck?
Yeah, you're like, what the duck? Or WTF? I totally agree. I just find this is the most weird thing I've ever seen in a video game. And I've seen some pretty weird stuff in video games. I mean, we grew up with Pokemon. That's pretty weird stuff. And you have Link launched up into the sky like a... I'm sorry. I know people are
This is weirder when I played Trials of Mana. When travel across an ocean, how they do it, they shoot you out of a cannon.
That makes more sense to me than this. This is just... Heck, we played Earthbound growing up, and that was pretty weird. That was basically one of the most creative people getting coked up and making a video game. I'm just saying.
Traveling via flying saucer.
Yeah, that was fun. That was cool. But this, she literally turned you into a kite. This makes no sense. What of the laws of gravity? And that's my problem here. There's no respect for basic physics. At least respect Newton, for Newton's sake. And I'm gonna be honest, this is too stupid for me. This is stupid. And I know people are gonna say unsubscribe. Please don't. Actually, please do the opposite and subscribe. This whole jumping up into the air, Dragon Ball Z style, and then dive bombing down to the earth, I think this trope has gone on for too long. Kill this trope with fire. If you want to make this sort of game, make a Superman game, but keep it out of Zelda. Heck, if you want to make that game, guess what? It's already been made. And we've got a great PS4 Dragon Ball Z game. It's fun. You make your own DBZ character. It's fun. It's great. It's a very social game. But this is too much for me. So yeah, the kite thing, not a fan. And it's such a shame because there was a great deal of good ideas in Breath of the Wild, for example. I'm just saying, the fact that Hyrule hit such a civilizational high and then just collapsed is a great idea. They really did take it in a lot of interesting directions with Breath of the Wild. But here, all I'm left thinking is, okay, this kite thing, no. You're taking it too far. And I understand they're trying to make it more sci-fi, but this is Zelda. It shouldn't be sci-fi. And so I guess I'm also getting a little tired of all the science fiction stuff. Yeah, sorry for the mini rant. The next character to introduce is a character called Joshua, who's after some pretty good Zelda scenes, so that you're left thinking, why did all the good scenes go to her? Also, apparently she is indeed at a completely different point in the history, possibly near to the beginning of the founding of Hyrule, because she's with Rauru and his wife. So there's really nothing to say or criticize here. There's a lot to praise, actually, about her plot line. And the character designs, I actually like the idea of bird races in fantasy fiction. I've seen them before. They can be pretty good, but I'm not a fan of this design. Suikoden 3, I actually like the idea of the duck race. I thought they were well designed and they were great. I hated Suikoden 3, but I like the duck race. Like, Sergeant Cho was one of the only decent characters in that game. His design does not look great. And we're introduced to Tulin, who's a Rito, and we're introduced to him after he's trying to lecture his elders, which, yeah, he's pushing them to action, which this is a classical trope in the hero's journey. So I don't mind that. The trouble is his voice acting is terrible.
This character feels a bit too cliche in my book.
Yeah, he complains about being treated like a child all the time. But on the bright side, you actually have a boss in this subsequent dungeon, which that is good. Colgera, which I'm actually in favor of because it's about time we got
A challenge?
yeah, and of course, the next boss is Moragia. As to the Zora, they immediately welcome Link. We're just skipping on ahead to there because why not? I'm actually a little irritated. In Ocarina of Time, you had to work hard to earn their acceptance. Them and the Gorons. But mostly the Zora didn't like you. You had to accomplish all sorts of tasks. You had to go rescue Ruto. And the general air was one of disapproval and dislike because they just felt, well, we're better than you. You're not like us. But then once you proved yourself to them, they were friendly and they saw you as, okay, we're willing to try to rethink our previous suspicion. The thing is, this is an important aspect of fantasy fiction, the proving of one's worth. Going from childhood to adulthood. You have to earn your place in the world. You have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You're not just given things in life. And here, you're just given friendship with the Zora. I don't approve of that because it's undercutting one of the most important themes in fantasy, growing up. In Predain, Terran is not approved of. He has to prove himself, and initially he is unworthy. He is only worthy once he has proven himself. And by having Link just given the friendship of the different races, especially the Zora, it is infantilizing. It is undercutting one of the most important themes. So thematically, this game is dropping the ball with, I actually think that the Rito and the Zora should have actually hated Link at first sight. And then after Link rescues, let's say, a prince or a princess, like he does in Ocarina of Time, and proves himself to them, they react with a great deal more of acceptance. It's not the end so much as the journey. That said, there is a dungeon where you have to fight alongside Sidon, who is the Sage of Water. So the thing about this game is you are going through the game and rescuing and helping the different sages. But I just feel that, there could be a little more to earning the affection and love of the different races. As to the Gerudos, I honestly have no problem. I have no complaint. The voice actress for the Gerudos should have probably been the Zelda voice actress. I'm just gonna be honest. Her voice actress is really good. She has a very commanding voice. I really like it. The Queen of the Gerudos, I mean. And I really like the Gerudos having a more heroic role in here so that we've gotten an entire arc since Ocarina of Time. And I might actually say, can we just have a video game from the Legend of Zelda universe where you play as a Gerudo?
Yeah, that would...
Deal of fun.
Agreed.
But anyways, next time we'll get into the final battle and dealing with Ganon because why not? We do have to close up this playlist at some point. And hopefully with that video, we'll end up also putting up our rating of this game. So if you enjoyed this video, and even if you didn't enjoy our criticism, do feel free to smash that like and that subscribe button as though you were Link taking down Ganon for the final time.